Howdy, y'all. It's Reese, aka Bearman Prime, on this July 19th. Welcome back to my Read the Bible in a Year series. Thank you again for joining me. God bless you all. Card in the top right hand corner for the rest of the playlist. And please hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. Sure to appreciate it. So, yesterday we saw an important picture of Jesus where he refers to himself as the bread of life. He is the bread or the food, the sustenance that will always satisfy us, will fill our desires, and will fulfill us in every way we need. Not necessarily every way we want, but every way we need, right? So let's pick it up there where we left off yesterday. Let's go back to John chapter 6, pick it up in verse 41. Some Jews began to complain about Jesus because he said, "I am the bread that comes down from heaven." They said, "This is Jesus. We know his father and mother. He is only Joseph's son. How can he say, 'I come down from heaven'?" But Jesus said, "Stop complaining to each other. The Father is the one who sent me. He is the one who brings people to me. I will raise them up on the last day. Anyone the Father does not bring to me cannot come to me. It is written in the prophets, God will teach them all. People listen to the Father and learn from him. They are the ones who come to me. I don't mean that there is anyone who has seen the Father. The only one who has ever seen the Father is the one who came from God. He has seen the Father. I can assure you that anyone who believes has eternal life. I am the bread that gives life. Your ancestors ate the manna God gave them in the desert, but it didn't keep them from dying. Here is the bread that comes down from heaven. Whoever eats this bread will never die. I am the living bread that came down from heaven. Whoever eats this bread will live forever. This bread is my body. I will give my body so that the people in the world can have life." Then the Jews began to argue among themselves. They said, "How can this man give us his body to eat?" Jesus said, "Believe me when I say that you must eat the body of the Son of Man, and you must drink his blood. If you don't do this, you have no real life. Those who eat my body and drink my blood have eternal life. I will raise them up on the last day. My body is true food, and my blood is true drink. Those who eat my body and drink my blood live in me. I live in them. The Father sent me. He lives. I live because of him. So everyone who eats me will live because of me. I am not like the bread that your ancestors ate. They ate that bread, but they still died. I am the bread that came down from heaven. Whoever eats this bread will live forever." Jesus said all this while he was teaching in the synagogue in the city of Capernaum. Verse 60. When Jesus' followers heard this, many of them said, "This teaching is hard. Who can accept it?" Jesus already knew that his followers were complaining about this. So he said, "Is this teaching a problem for you? Then what will you think when you see the Son of Man going up to where he came from? It is the Spirit that gives life. The body is of no value for that. But the things I have told you are from the Spirit, so they give life. But some of you don't believe." Jesus knew the people who did not believe. He knew this from the beginning, and he knew the one who would hand him over to his enemies. Jesus said, "That is why I said anyone the Father does not help to come to me cannot come." After Jesus said these things, many of his followers left and stopped following him. Jesus asked the 12 apostles, "Do you want to leave too?" Simon Peter answered him, "Lord, where would we go? You have the words that give eternal life. We believe in you. We know that you are the Holy One from God." Then Jesus answered, "I chose all 12 of you, but one of you is a devil." He was talking about Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot. Judas was one of the 12 apostles, but later he would hand Jesus over to his enemies. Spoiler alert! Kidding. All right, so Jesus doubles down on the metaphor that he is the bread of life, and he goes so far as to say, literally, that you must eat my body and drink my blood to have life. That is the only way. Now, let's be real here. Jesus is not endorsing cannibalism. He is not advocating cannibalism in any way. He is not saying that we must actually eat flesh and drink blood to have eternal life. Okay? Just putting that out there. But it is strange to hear him say that you must eat of his body and drink of his blood to have eternal life. Now, that goes back to what I was saying before about the Lord's Supper the other day, where we have, the bread or the crackers that represent, the bread that he broke or his body that was broken, and then the wine or the grape juice that represents his blood, which was spilled for us, right? So he's not necessarily alluding to that, but that is the picture he is trying to paint. But the point of it is that Jesus is the only one that can provide the way to eternal life. He is the only way to eternal life. I'm going to say that one more time so it really sinks in. Jesus Christ is the only way to eternal life. Right? There is no other way. No one else. Nothing else. In this world, in hell, anywhere else can provide that. Only Jesus can. And how do we get that? We must believe. We must believe in him. Everyone that the Father brings to Jesus, that come to Jesus, is from the Father, because the Father gives them to him, and Jesus will never let you go. Right? If you feel that call to follow Jesus, to come to Jesus, that's God urging you, giving you to him. And if you accept that, he's got you. He'll never let you go. Okay? That's a promise. And then, of course, we see the illusion here that, this is a hard thing for people to understand, and it still is for a lot of people nowadays. Not everyone can accept what Jesus is saying, what Jesus teaches us, what the gospel tells us. And so they just they fade away. They fall into the world. And that's sad and unfortunate, but it is what it is. And then finally, we see the illusion that one of the 12 is a traitor and will turn him over to his enemies. Of course, we know that it was Judas Iscariot who would do the deed, right? So, again, we'll get to all that later on. That's all for today. We're going to pick it up there tomorrow. Thank you again for joining me. I sure do appreciate it. I'll see y'all tomorrow.